The Atlantic Ocean in 1943 is no longer a hunting ground, it is a battlefield. For nearly 4 years, the gray wolves of the sea have stalked the shipping lanes between North America and Britain. German U-boats have strangled supply lines, sending thousands of sailors to the icy depths. But now, the tide is turning. In this episode of Hell Below, we enter the decisive phase of the Battle of the Atlantic, the moment when the hunters become the hunted, and the ocean itself becomes the stage for an all-out Atlantic showdown. At the heart of Germany's naval campaign stands Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, architect of the ruthless wolfpack strategy. His vision was simple yet devastating: deploy coordinated groups of U-boats to overwhelm Allied convoys at night, striking swiftly before disappearing beneath the waves. For years, this tactic worked. Merchant ships burned, lifelines snapped, and Britain teetered on the brink. The Atlantic was a graveyard lit by oil fires and tracer rounds. But by 1943, Dönitz faces a harsh reality: the Allies are adapting. Across the ocean, Allied command centers buzz with urgency. In London and Washington, D.C., intelligence officers pore over intercepted messages, charts, and convoy reports. A secret weapon is shifting the balance: the cracking of Germany's Enigma code. Deep inside Bletchley Park, mathematicians and cryptanalysts are deciphering U-boat positions with increasing speed. What was once guesswork is becoming precision warfare. Convoys begin rerouting away from wolfpacks. Hunter-killer groups start sailing directly toward them. Technology now becomes the Allies' greatest ally. Long-range patrol aircraft close the deadly air gap in the mid-Atlantic, the one safe haven where U-boats once operated freely. The arrival of escort carriers transforms convoys into floating fortresses. Radar improves, high-frequency direction finding tracks submarine transmissions, and new weapons like the Hedgehog anti-submarine mortar allow ships to attack without losing sonar contact. The ocean, once dark and concealing, now exposes the predators beneath it. In the spring of 1943, the Atlantic explodes into chaos. Convoys such as ONS-5 become epic battlegrounds. For days, destroyers and corvettes fight relentless U-boat assaults through freezing storms and blackened seas. Depth charges thunder through the sea. Submarines stalk from below, torpedoes slicing towards silhouetted freighters. The battle becomes a brutal contest of endurance, steel against steel, sonar pings echoing like heartbeats in the abyss. Ships are lost on both sides, but something unprecedented is happening. U-boats are dying in greater numbers than the merchant ships they sink. German crews feel the shift. What was once a confident hunt turns into a desperate gamble. Allied air cover now stretches farther than ever before. U-boats caught on the surface are strafed mercilessly. Diving offers little refuge as improved sonar locks onto them with chilling accuracy. The Atlantic, once a shield, has turned hostile. Each patrol becomes more lethal than the last. By May 1943, the statistics are staggering. Over 40 U-boats are destroyed in a single month. Entire wolfpacks vanish beneath the waves. The Kriegsmarine's submarine arm, once Germany's most feared naval weapon, suffers catastrophic losses. Dönitz is forced to withdraw his boats from the North Atlantic. It is a stunning admission: the Allies have seized control of the sea. But the Atlantic showdown is not only about machines and tactics, it is about the men inside them. In cramped U-boat hulls, German sailors endure suffocating air, constant dampness, and the psychological terror of depth-charge barrages. On Allied escorts, young sailors brace for explosions that shake their ships to the core. Sleep is rare. Fear is constant. The ocean shows mercy to no one. As summer 1943 unfolds, the balance of power is clear. Supplies now flow steadily from North America to Britain and onward to the Soviet Union. The success in the Atlantic ensures that the Allies can prepare for future offensives, from the invasion of Italy to the eventual landings in Normandy. Without victory at sea, none of it would be possible. The Battle of the Atlantic does not end in a single dramatic clash, but in a grinding realization. Germany can no longer choke Britain into submission. The Allied industrial machine, protected by steel hulls and sharpened intelligence, is unstoppable. The Atlantic Showdown has been decided not by one fleet engagement, but by innovation, endurance, and relentless adaptation. For the men who fought it, the ocean remains a memory of thunder and darkness, of sonar pings in the night and the sudden roar of detonations below. Thousands never returned. Their graves lie scattered across the cold Atlantic floor, silent witnesses to the longest continuous campaign of the Second World War. As 1943 grinds forward, the Atlantic is no longer a chessboard of cautious maneuver. It is a furnace of continuous combat. Following the devastating losses of May, Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz refuses to concede defeat. Instead, he searches for technological answers to an increasingly impossible problem. New acoustic torpedoes are rushed into service. Improved anti-aircraft guns are mounted on U-boats, transforming some into heavily armed flak boats designed to fight off Allied aircraft rather than dive immediately. It is a bold shift in doctrine, but one born of desperation. The Allies, however, are accelerating even faster. Escort carriers now roam the Atlantic in hunter-killer groups, independent of convoy duty. Their mission is simple: seek and destroy. Aircraft sweep vast stretches of ocean, guided by intelligence from Bletchley Park and triangulated radio signals. Submarines that once slipped silently through shipping lanes now find themselves relentlessly tracked. The ocean surface, once a safe place to recharge batteries under cover of darkness, has become a killing zone illuminated by searchlights and very flares. One of the most dramatic clashes unfolds in the Bay of Biscay. U-boats leaving their French bases must run a gauntlet of Allied air patrols. Long-range bombers strike with rockets and depth charges, turning transit routes into ambush corridors. German crews attempt to fight back, manning anti-aircraft guns as waves crash over their decks. Some aircraft are shot down, but the cost is staggering. Submarines are not built to duel in open daylight. The Atlantic Showdown is shifting from convoy battles to systematic extermination. Meanwhile, Allied shipyards in the United States operate at an almost unimaginable scale. Liberty ships slide into the water at record speed, sometimes completed in mere weeks. For every freighter sunk, two more take its place. The industrial power of the United States overwhelms Germany's capacity to destroy. The math of the war has turned brutally simple. The U-boats cannot sink ships fast enough to matter anymore. Yet beneath the statistics lies human endurance. Inside Allied destroyers, sonar operators sit in dim compartments, headphones pressed tight, straining to distinguish mechanical echoes from the natural sounds of the sea. A single faint contact can mean life or death. Depth charges roll off stern racks, detonating in thunderous underwater eruptions. Sometimes debris floats to the surface, oil, splintered wood, or worse. Other times, nothing. The uncertainty gnaws at every crew. For German submariners, morale erodes with each patrol. Veterans who once returned to cheering crowds now depart in silence. Casualty rates climb so high that new recruits receive only minimal training before being sent into combat. The psychological toll is immense. Every sonar ping could signal discovery. Every depth charge explosion could rupture the hull. The Atlantic presses inward, cold and crushing. Desperate for innovation, Germany introduces the snorkel device, allowing submarines to run diesel engines while submerged. On paper, it promises invisibility. In practice, early models are unreliable and slow to deploy. Mechanical failures expose boats at critical moments. The technological race continues, but the Allies maintain momentum. By late 1943, the Atlantic is firmly under Allied control. Convoys cross with fewer losses. The steady stream of troops and material flowing toward Britain sets the stage for the next great gamble, the invasion of Western Europe. Without dominance in the Atlantic, such an operation would be impossible. The showdown beneath the waves has secured the path for liberation. Still, the fighting does not end overnight. U-boats continue to strike where they can, shifting focus to distant waters, the Arctic convoys, the Caribbean, even the coast of Africa. But these are scattered blows, no longer capable of altering the war's outcome. The wolfpacks are fractured. The initiative is gone. The Battle of the Atlantic will continue until Germany's surrender in 1945, but 1943 marks its decisive turning point. It is the year the ocean changed allegiance, the year innovation outpaced aggression, the year endurance overcame fear. The Atlantic Showdown was not a single dramatic explosion or a famous admiral's duel. It was a grinding, relentless campaign fought mile by mile, convoy by convoy, depth charge by depth charge. It was won by codebreakers hunched over encrypted messages, by factory workers riveting hull plates, by pilots scanning endless horizons, and by sailors who refused to yield to the dark.